What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a very special one, a little different than some of the other stuff I've done. If you watched the video I put out a couple weeks ago called Beginner's Guide to Building Muscle, this is very similar to that, guys. I am going to cover intermittent fasting today. I seem to get that question a lot from people, especially when I'm reading comments asking me, how long do you fast for? Why do you fast? And I figured in this video I'll go in, break it down to you exactly how I do it, some of the benefits and some of the dietary changes you might need to make if you plan on fasting and you ultimately want to experience all the benefits that it has to offer. And personally, guys, intermittent fasting is, I will say this, and I've said it quite a few times in the past, it is the one thing I feel like that really changed my entire mindset about dieting and fitness and really helped me dial in my nutrition to get everything where I needed it to be to really make this more of a lifestyle and less of a burden. So I'm gonna quit talking now. We're gonna get straight into this video. Are you guys ready to learn all about intermittent fasting? If your answer was yes, then I'm ready to teach you. Let's do it! Okay guys, I am going to just hop right into this. So as you can see at the top, it says Intermittent Fasting 101. So I'm just gonna break down exactly what intermittent fasting is. So, intermittent fasting is an umbrella term used to describe a style of dieting where people spend their day alternating between periods of fasting and non-fasting. Now, for those of you that don't understand what fasting is basically going for a prolonged period of time, planned usually, that you are not consuming food. And then non-fasting obviously means that you're eating. So for example, my style of fasting, I like to spend 16 hours fasted and 8 hours fed. So as you see there in parentheses, my usual time frame for this is 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. And I will say this does change sometimes depending on my schedule. Sometimes I break it at noon, break it at 1, but then I usually try to cut it off at that 8-hour mark. That way I get my full 16 hours of fasting in. Other examples, guys, you don't have to necessarily follow the 16 hours fasted, 8 hours fed protocol like I do. You can go ahead and just do a different one. So for example, we have 20 hours fasted, 4 hours fed, 14 hours fasted, 10 hours fed, etc. It's all about finding what works best for your schedule. So moving into the benefits of intermittent fasting. The single largest benefit, and one of the ones that I feel like has really helped me a ton overall with my progress when it comes to dieting, cutting weight, and all that, is the metabolic increase. Studies show a range of anywhere from 3.6% to 14% of an increase in metabolic rate while you are in a fasted state. So you have to really think about this, even if you are on the shorter end of that spectrum and you only get a 3.6% boost. That is still a pretty significant jump. And if you're one of the lucky ones that gets clear up to that 14% boost, that could be the difference between an extra pound lost each and every week. So don't discount intermittent fasting, guys, for this benefit alone. But I will tell you there are other things about intermittent fasting besides the metabolic increase that make it an invaluable tool. Short-term fasting has been shown to increase growth hormone levels, which help with many aspects of life. If you guys aren't familiar with growth hormone, you can look it up. I'm not going to go too much into detail in it right now, but it is basically the fountain of youth. A lot of celebrities and a lot of professional athletes actually get growth hormone, whether illegally or legally or however you do it, just to see the benefits from it. So if we can increase our natural levels of this, why not, guys? There's nothing but benefits. It can improve your gains, so muscle gains, fat loss, whatever. It makes your sleep better, it affects your mood, etc. I will say, since I started fasting, I notice I'm in a much better mood and I'm more productive, and I do feel like I've made better gains the last year that I've really implemented it, as opposed to the previous years where I still made gains, but I didn't make as significant of gains as I have this past year. Intermittent fasting also leads to lower levels of insulin in your blood, which leads to less fat being stored and a decreased response to simple carbohydrates like sugar. So if you are someone that is insulin resistant, so for people that are significantly overweight and your response to carbohydrates is very blunted, then I recommend intermittent fasting simply to help reverse that problem. And then elaborating on the decreased response to simple carbohydrates like sugar. So as most of you might know or might not know, when you consume sugar, it immediately causes your body to have an insulin reaction, an insulin spike. When your insulin spikes up like that, your body is way more likely to store whatever those calories are as fat, as opposed to using them for sustained energy in a complex carbohydrate such as sweet potatoes, brown rice, something along those lines, oatmeal. But when you fast, your levels of insulin are lower throughout the day. So when you do consume sugar or something of that nature, your overall response isn't as elevated, isn't as high. You are less likely to store that that as fat. So if you guys watch any of my eating challenges or anything like that, you know I consume a massive amount of calories in a very short period of time. And for the most part, other than that week-long vacation I had, for the most part, these don't really affect my body too bad as long as the rest of my diet is on point for the preceding week. So I really do like to say that I have experienced the benefit of that one firsthand. Intermittent fasting has also been shown to decrease inflammation and help with cellular repair and waste removal. So basically, your body is different tomorrow than it was today on a cellular level. Your body's constantly going through a process where cells are dying off, your body's turning into waste, your body's consuming them, and your body's repurposing those to make new cells, and vice versa. It's actually pretty complex when you get down to it. But this whole process gets sped up, and when this process is slowed down, it can lead to you being inflamed, which can cause a variety of problems. I'm not going to go into too much detail on them right here, but if you Google inflammation, some of the causes and effects, it's stuff that would surprise you. Anything from headaches, to swollen ankles, to your face holding water and looking puffy, stuff like that can be all signs of inflammation. While you're fasted, your body is on high priority to clear waste out and to repair any damage that's been done to it. And I will say, I do feel like my body as a whole recovers faster from injuries, and I don't seem to be sore as often since I started fasting. Some of this stuff might just be a coincidence, but I like to look at the positives and stuff and not really write everything off as just circumstance. Now, intermittent fasting can also increase your brain function and cognitive awareness. Now, you see there I put this I truly do believe in, and that is because I do. I will say in the mornings when I'm fasted, especially the first 4 hours, I feel zoned in and on point. Right now, I am recording this with no food in my stomach, and if you pay attention to my ability to speak, my ability to convey myself, and overall just my demeanor and the way I am, a lot of that I attribute to fasting. I know when I used to wake up in the morning and eat food right away, it kind of slowed me down a little bit, but right now I am feeling absolutely incredible, focused, and ready to accomplish any task that is put in my way. So I really do, guys, out of all of them, I will say the increased brain function and cognitive awareness is one that I wholeheartedly believe in. So try this out for yourself and let me know if you experience the same thing. And finally, intermittent fasting has been shown to increase the lifespan in rats. There was a marked 83% increase in lifespan with fasting rats versus non-fasting rats, and I did put there that human studies are not available. As most of you guys know, rats are probably the most studied on animal of them all because on a cellular level, they're very similar to us. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that if you do intermittent fasting, your lifespan is most likely going to extend, but I will say that even if it didn't increase lifespan, I think fasting and just all the benefits that it has in general, like the better sleep, the growth hormone production, and all of that leads to a longer lifespan. So in turn, I think that while it may not directly affect that, it might indirectly affect lifespan. So those are some of the benefits, guys. Now, let's move on to intermittent fasting and dieting. Intermittent fasting by itself, in the absence of any sort of structured diet, can work if you're just trying to focus on eating clean, eating healthy. So give this a try. You don't have to be super hardcore, super regimented to get the benefits out of intermittent fasting. And you see here I put intermittent fasting coupled with a macro diet or structured meal plan is ideal. I've never personally had something work for me as well as fasting has. You guys might have already gotten the gist of that while I've been talking to you here in this video, but intermittent fasting completely and utterly changed my life. I will say that for sure. This has been a game changer for me, and I really started implementing it a little bit after I started my business. I noticed that I do my best work in the mornings while I'm fasted. So the cognitive increase, my ability to solve problems, and overall just my well-being and my mood have markedly increased, as well as my gains and just everything in life seems to have gotten better since I did intermittent fasting. I'm not trying to sit here and tell you that it's the best thing in the world and it's the end all be all. All I'm saying is that for me and my lifestyle, intermittent fasting has been absolutely a game changer and an incredible addition to my utility belt. It sounded like a superhero. Now, I recommend personally that you fast immediately upon waking for maximum benefit. I recommend you fast at least 4 hours after waking. That is my recommendation. Obviously, tune this to whatever fits your schedule most. That is the most important thing. Studies have shown it's towards the tail end of your fast where you're really getting the most benefit. So if you're cutting it off at 10 p.m., falling asleep, having that whole night where you're fasted, waking up and then fasting on top of that, that's when you're really going to notice a lot of the fat loss, the metabolic increase, the increased cognitive function, growth hormone levels, all that stuff. So that's my recommendation, but obviously, like I said, tailor it to fit your needs. As far as we're talking how long you fast and then your feeding window, my ultimate recommendation, once again, all this is my recommendations. I do 16-8, so that's 16 hours fasted, 8 hours fed, like I covered earlier. But here we go, I outline it once again. Do whatever works best with your schedule. This is the most important aspect. There's no need to take something and completely twist it up and throw a wrench in your daily routine routine and your lifestyle if it simply does not work. You need to do something that's easy for you to stick to, easy for you to implement into your life, because ultimately, in the end, this needs to be a lifestyle. This isn't no quick fix. This isn't something you just do for a week. This is a lifestyle. If you want the maximum benefit out of it, it's finding all these little things that everybody does, whether it's the meal plan that someone likes or whether it's intermittent fasting, whether it's keto, finding what fits you and your unique specifications, your unique genetics, and tailoring them to fit your lifestyle and creating something that can be followed day in and day out. It takes roughly 50 calories to break a fast. This can vary depending on the individual once again, but I clearly can tell when I'm fasted and when I'm not, and I have taken up to about 40 calories before and still haven't noticed my body feeling like I broke my fast. And this was when I was taking my fat burner, which was roughly about 25 calories, and I think I took green superfood powder, which was like 10 or 15. Put me right around 40, like I said, and I never noticed any difference. Now, I've listed here things you can have while you're fasting: branched chain amino acids, 0-calorie drinks, black coffee, supplements, 0 or minimal calories. Like I said, as long as you're not going over that 50 calorie mark, you are probably good to go. And you're going to have people that are going to come in here and they're going to comment below. They always do when I talk about fasting, and they say, branched chain aminos break your fast. Artificial sweeteners break your fast. All I'm telling you guys is that based on my personal experiences with fasting, I've never felt any of these break my fast. And there's a lot of evidence out there that kind of goes both ways. I think you just really have to take this portion here with a grain of salt, see what works for you, because in the end, we're all different. Like I always preach, what works for someone else might not work for you, but personally, 0-calorie stuff has always been a-okay in my book. Now we've reached the conclusion here. I'm just going to cover a couple minor things real fast before I see you guys off. I felt like this would be valuable to put here at the end of the video. Now, intermittent fasting is an invaluable tool that I employ daily to help me stay lean and focused on what matters most. So I put in parentheses meal one example, and this is what I wanted to touch on with you guys. Before I ever started this whole intermittent fasting thing, my whole ideology was wake up in the morning, eat meal one, then every 2 to 3 hours I gotta eat a meal, eat a meal, eat a meal, eat a meal. And what this seemed to do for me was, as soon as I woke up, it started this anxiousness in me where I had to watch the clock and I had to hurry up and get this meal and do this or do this. I gotta remain anabolic and da-da-da. And honestly, I felt like a slave to my diet. With intermittent fasting, I don't feel that way anymore. I combine meals, I eat one meal, I break my fast, I can save all my food for later in the day. I just love this style. It works perfectly for me, and I'm the type of guy that likes to eat a lot of food at once. So for me personally, this is ideal, and I hate feeling stressed out and having to really micromanage my diet. So that's why I personally love intermittent fasting. Now moving on, overall, intermittent fasting isn't a miracle diet as much as it is a tool to be added to your arsenal. So I'm just going to go straight down to the next point because they kind of both go hand in hand. If you continue to eat junk and fast, you will still most likely not see progress. Calories in versus calories out. Basically, you can't just continue to eat pizza and follow the same bad habits and just start fasting and think you're going to lose all this weight. That is not the way it works. In the end, your body only burns so many calories a day, and if you put more than that in your system, you are going to gain weight. If you put less in your system, you're going to lose weight. Intermittent fasting is just a tool to help you consolidate some of those calories and really maximize your metabolism and your rate of burning fat while minimizing the amount of time you're eating and keeping those calories lower than your total daily energy expenditure. Now, I put here, you don't have to be a fitness guy or girl to practice intermittent fasting. This will work for anyone who has the patience to follow it. What I mean by that is you don't have to be into lifting, you don't have to go do mad cardio to see results with this. You can simply implement this style of dieting and still reap the rewards and the benefits, guys. Like I outlined earlier, there's tons of benefits to this, and I truly do believe in intermittent fasting 100% for certain. So don't be discouraged. Maybe you start with this diet and then you make some progress, you see the gains, and that kind of inspires you to go to the gym and start working on that stuff. So just wanted to throw that in there for those of you that aren't necessarily on the gains train like I am. I did put here, if you were training fasted, don't forget branched chain amino acid supplementation. At least 4 to 5 grams before training and 4 to 5 grams after is ideal for muscle retention. I've spoke about this in length on other videos. I don't want to cover it too much right here, but all I'm going to say is that when you're in a calorie deficit and you're dieting and you're fasting, your body has 2 options for energy. It's either going to go for muscle on you or fat on you for energy. If you're lifting hard enough, your body knows you need that muscle and it's not really going to utilize it. It's going to go for the fat. And the same thing goes with branched chain amino acid supplementation. If you're supplementing with branched chain amino acids, in the end, your muscles are made up of amino acids. Branched chain amino acids tell your body that, hey, we have enough of this in abundance. We do not need any more. So in turn, it spares the muscle and goes for the fat on you, and it prioritizes it. Now, I'm not selling you that if you don't supplement with branched chain amino acids and fast, you're going to lose all your muscle and you're going to be skinny fat. I'm not saying that at all. All I'm saying is that our ultimate goal should be to shift the odds in our favor. We should always be trying to put our best foot forward. And even if this only offers a 10% increase in muscle retention, we need that, guys. It's all about stacking all the little chips up, because in the end, you stack all those little ones up, you got yourself a big tower of chips right there, right? You should always be trying to find the best possible way to make the most out of everything you're doing, regardless of what that is in life. And I had to give these guys a shout out. You guys already know it. Bollocks.com for a wide variety of branched chain amino acid flavors. They are coupled with caffeine, so you get the increase in metabolic rate from caffeine, and it is a perfect pre-workout option if you're trying to avoid some of the more stemmed up chemical-induced pre-workouts. I love me some pure aminos. You guys know, if you've been following me long enough, that I take this stuff every single morning. So it is my go-to brand. Been taking them long before they ever sponsored me, and I absolutely love the company and everything they stand for. So as always, you guys can visit purebollocs.com and use code RJF10 and it'll save you 10% off your entire order. That's 60 servings for like $30. So if you're fasting in the morning, you're doing cardio, you can do 1 scoop before, 1 scoop after. I do 2 scoops first thing and just ride it out. That's me personally, but hey, everybody's different. So be sure to check them out, guys. Great company, good people, good values, everything that I look for. And the final bullet point you can see here, don't be afraid of having a large meal or combining multiple meals on your program into one. I do this daily. Now this is more for clients I currently have on meal plans and training plans and 12-week plans and all that. I get this question a lot. They say, I'm fasting, I can't fit all this food into my window. I can't do 5 meals in 8 hours. And what I'm telling you is that it is totally fine to combine 2 meals into one. A lot of times I'll eat about half my meal plan for about the first 6 hours or so that I'm fasting, and like my final meal right before my window closes, I combine the other half of it into one gigantic meal. And I just love eating that way, guys. I kind of struggle with binge eating from time to time. If you watch any of my eating challenges, you can see that I can put away a massive amount of food. Binge eating has been a struggle of mine my entire life. But when I can take all these meals, combine them into a big one, and smash that, it kind of keeps me satiated and really helps me with feeling full. One of the worst things in my opinion is it being really late at night and you're just kind of sitting there and you're starving. I hate that. So if I can save my final couple meals for the last meal of the day and really fill myself up, go to bed with a full tummy, that makes a happy Remington. And the final bullet point that you guys can't see that I just realized actually says, thank you for watching my video. Hit that like button if you'd like more content like this. And as always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure, like the thing just said, hit that like button, comment below, let me know if you want to see more content like this. So switching back to my other camera now, guys. Thank you for watching. Well, guys, that was my beginner's guide to intermittent fasting. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I put a lot of time into these ones because I really like to cover a wide variety of topics, and I like to make sure, even though this might run a little long, I always like to make sure these videos give you the maximum amount of value for your viewing minute. I was gonna say viewing dollar, but I didn't feel like that really worked. So I like to cram as much information as possible into these videos. So thank you as always for your support. If you want to see more videos like this, hit that like button, leave a comment below, let me know what you think, guys. Regardless of what you guys might think, I do go down through and read the comments. I don't always have time to respond to everybody, but I do read them, and I do see all of you guys out there supporting the channel and commenting on it. And by the way, guys, 50,000 subscribers, how awesome is that? Thank you as always for all your support, and you ready for it? Don't forget to smile, remain positive, and pay someone a compliment, because you never know whose day you could be making better. With that, I am out here. This has been a Remington James production, and I'll see you guys at the next video. See you guys.